Nice 6-3 win for the men's lacrosse team, the top in-state rival Quinnipiac Bobcats. Back-to-back goals by the senior attackman and Andrew Cacchio. And not the greatest or most exciting ball game, but late in the game, you guys were able to kind of come up with a man-up goal opportunity, and then you score again. Kind of tell us about the in-game adjustments that you guys were able to make.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep grinding, playing our systems. They put a short stick on me, which was a little bit different than what we're used to seeing, so we just wanted to keep running our systems. We knew we were going to get our chances, and when we did, we knew we were going to execute and finish. So you
guys have been able to capitalize on the Bobcats past 5 years, so all 4 years that you've been here. And just talk about this in-state rival. What does it mean to kind of beat an in-state rival, and does that kind of propel your team a little bit more?
Yeah, it's huge because they're a huge rivalry. We know a lot of those guys from playing from youth ball and stuff like that. So, we really needed to win to get the monkey off our back a little bit, and we're going to use this kind of perpetuate further. So it's going to be great.
All right, we'll bring in your head coach and Pete Lawrence. The boys do snap a 2-game skid. They get their first win here at home, and kind of what I was just telling your senior attackman, not the most exciting game, 2-2 at the break. What did you tell them at halftime where you guys were able to kind of make a couple adjustments in the second half and eventually come away with a 6-3 win?
Sure. I think it was big to get that first goal, in the third quarter. Kevin O'Shea, great assist to Doug Biondi, and I think that, provided some momentum, and we just needed more tempo. I mean, as you saw, it was just very slow, and I don't know if that was an impact on some of the sticks because of the rain, that type of thing, but it just seemed like a very slow, drawn-out game, not a lot of tempo to it on really either side, and they were able to capitalize. I mean, their 2 goals in the first half were an advantage, in the subbing game, and then we were actually man up, didn't back up a shot, they clear it down, and score a goal, and so it wasn't anything groundbreaking. I just think it was more, again, like we're talking about, it was just the attitude, the focus we needed to have in the second half of that game, and couldn't have been more proud of the defense. Like I said, they scored 1 6-on-6 goal in 60 minutes of lacrosse, shut them out in the fourth quarter. Between the starting D, Brian Monks gets his first start, and Frank in the goal. I think they had 10, ground balls, and it's a good lacrosse team. Like no team has held them down like that this year, and so, and I think we needed that today because if we didn't get that today, our offense was not going to score, 10+ goals, and that's a big credit, as you saw, to their goalie. I think Gil Connors is, one of the better goalies here in New England and even in Division I lacrosse, and he showed it today. Point blank saves, and some of those go early, maybe you're feeling a little looser and the game goes a little bit easier, but we were having a hard time finding the back of the net until the fourth quarter at the end,
Yeah, both teams were struggling a little bit. You had talked about, and you guys would have been behind the fold if you lost this ball game. You snap a 2-game skid, you get your first win here at home. It's against an in-state rival. We always talk about the focus for your team during the pregame. So this was a game that was very slow-moving, but yet they kept the focus. They were able to keep the grind going and come away with the victory. So what does that tell you about your team now that you're able to kind of grind that one out moving forward to Saturday?
That's what we said, when we were talking about it in the pregame, when we were on the sideline, it's not always pretty when it's just disciplined, it's hard-nosed, you're making the tough plays. That's not always exotic. That's not always sexy, like I like to say.
Sexy's on the shelf now.
Yeah, but I always say winning's sexy, and so it wasn't pretty, and sometimes you get a win ugly, and I think that was kind of an ugly win. If you're like a lacrosse purist, unless you really love defense, that was an ugly win, But, And I think that's okay. That's like what I said to you before the game. It's like, it needs to be ugly. That's kind of who we are. It's never, you're not going to come out and watch us play and go, wow, this is so, glamorous, and it's just, fancy. I don't think that's going to win a lot of lacrosse games for us this year, and I think this is going to win a lot of lacrosse games if we just grind and we play tough and hold teams down, and I think that's kind of what this team is built for, and every team is built a little different. Back when we had, some of the Carter Benders and Aiden Gennicks, and, we had one of the top 5, offenses in the country, you go, let's out run and gun these teams, but I don't think that's what we're built for this year. I think we have a much better defense, and, we're good on ground balls, and so you just say grind them, wear them down.
All right, well, Hartford Lacrosse used to be sexy, but that's up on the shelf. It's more of a lunch pail, hard hat kind of team nowadays. Boys will be back in action coming up on Saturday against the Pioneers of Sacred Heart, another in-state rival. Stay tuned to HartfordHawks.com for live stats on that game facing off at 1 o'clock.